before I get into this, let me maybe just take 5 minutes, tell you a little bit about myself, because as I'm getting to know everybody, there's many of us here that don't know each other. And so maybe perhaps I can just take 5 minutes just to tell you a little bit about myself and how where I'm at, how I came to be, how I met David. David and I had a mortgage business years ago. And it's anything that happened in mortgages, as you know, I went under, and then we parted ways. He went to trading and did my Amazon thing, which we're still doing together, and we partnered back up, and that's how we reconnected like a year or two ago. And it's been a great ride and found great opportunities for us to do, which this now has become of that. So this is just my family a little bit. This is my wife Myrna, my daughter Kailia, my son Mahanri. Pictures, it's an older picture, but I was born in an island called Mongongo.
That's Manono.
Manono. I don't know how many of you. I don't know if I have my thing here. Let me see if I can get my chat up. How many of you are familiar with the island of Samoa, or have been there, or ever wanted to be there? Khalid? Okay. Well, so my hope is I show you this. If you ever wanted to be at a tropical island, I will tell you this is probably should be on top of your list. So let me just zoom out. I was born in this island right here, Kamanono. And the Samoan Islands are several islands. The two major ones in the western part of Samoa is Savaii, and then of course Apia or Upolu. Apia is the capital. And then American Samoa, which some people are familiar with. So TradeWise says, love the Samoan people. Thank you very much. Anyway, and David, I forgot to tell you. So this part right here, this part of the Samoan and Manua. You remember? I think we were trying to set up some entities, and we were just coming up with names. And I said, "How about Manua?" So Manua, actually, they back in the day, they thought they were the center of the universe. Look how tiny they are. But anyway, so just geographically, so you can kind of see. Oh yeah, Disney, of course, to see where Samoa is in relation to the rest of the United States. We're smack in the middle. Australia, the Philippines over here. So we're smack in the middle. So if any of you guys ever wanted to visit Samoa, man, it's a beautiful place. There's different images of island life, and just it's beautiful. So let's trade some money and then hire me as your tour guide. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. But let me go ahead and talk about what I when David was talking about the wobble techniques and the different stages, the 3 stages. I'm going to venture a guess, and David and all of you can chime in as well. It won't take us very long to learn those techniques and strategies. But why is it that we struggle still? Well, I started my trading career back in the late, I think it was on 2008, 2010, when I had my own mortgage business, and it kind of floundered and tried to find something else. And I started trading, and it was probably one of the only things that's kicked my butt. I've tried several things, from sales to, family restaurants to insurance, even having my own business. And I actually have done really well. I would consider that I would usually try to be in the top 10, top 5% in pretty much everything I did, except when it comes to trading. So the first time I did trading, I think I paid like 20 grand for this outfit to get me to train, and then lost 50 grand in trading, and got out, got back in. Years later, lost another 20 grand. And this is my 3rd time around. But the difference, of course, I have somebody holding my hand and smacking my hand as it's needed sometimes. But the first time I did it, somebody introduced me to a book called Trading in the Zone. I actually met this guy in one of the webinar or seminars I went to, but I didn't put a lot of value at it because I was so new. I didn't hear, or even though I've listened to him in that webinar or seminar, I didn't put a lot of weight in it because I didn't have a lot of history. Now that I've had years of history looking back, boy, I'm now using his 2 books here, at least Trading in the Zone, as a Bible. I read Trading in the Zone, started 5 weeks ago, and I'm my 5th time. I'm getting through it once a week. And so I'm on my 5th time this week, just going through it because there's so much meat and so much experience I didn't take for value. I didn't take it, as as valuable as it did now because of all the pain and the hurt that I've gone through, which I believe if you've been in this for a minute, you can probably share it. So this is where a lot of the stuff is coming from. And I think most of you that's been around a while probably can resonate and can relate to it. So by the way, guys, the good thing about internet, you can get a lot of stuff printed for free. You can go to YouTube and listen to it. What I did, I just went to audiobook and I purchased it and I've been listening to it over and over and over. But guys, you can go online. I mean, this is how I did put together my presentation. It's free. So, and I think sometimes just because it's free and it's available out there, when anybody can learn anything nowadays, there's still not a lot of value that people put on it. But boy, this is worth its weight in gold for me now as I went through these and dissect. I'm using it as a Bible for what I'm trying to do. So anyway, so I would highly encourage, if you haven't already, read these books. All right, so I'm going to take a poll here. I'm hoping this works. And there's 3 polls, and so forgive me because I can't put it all underneath one. It should only take you like 2 or 3 minutes per poll. So I'm going to launch the first one, and I'm hoping. Are you able to see something on your end, David? Or does anybody on yours, if you can text if you see it. If you don't see it, okay, perfect. Joseph, yes. Go ahead and take that poll. And as soon as you finish, let me know, please. There's 3 of these. It should be about 3 minutes each.
Because I'm
You don't get to take it because I think you're
a host.
Yeah.
Do I get to see what is it an anonymous?
Yeah, I made it anonymous so that way.
Oh, crap. So now I can't see what Joseph is going to say and what Skybob's going to say.
Okay. So, yeah, please go through that. And if you read the book or this is probably familiar to you, so it doesn't hurt to go over it again. Yeah, I think everybody, the Disney one, the Moana, that one that Disney made, the actual chief there, he had a Samoan, it's tattoo.
You are actually participating. So we need more participation on this poll.
Please, in order for my presentation to work well, I mean, I'll still be able to do it.
Josh gets a trophy.
Yes, Josh, I'll give you a trophy with, we got to put up, maybe we can use your dog as the actual, because he's Pip. Josh gets Pip. Yes, participation trophy. Thank you.
There we go. We're getting more participation.
Oh, you see it then?
I do, yeah. Because we're both hosts, so I can see how many people.
And I'm hoping as you're reading these questions and answering it, your own personal experience in trading, you can, kind of maybe pick up what the survey or what this poll is trying to do. Because as I read this guy is really good. I mean, I don't see his trading stats or what have you, but he's been around since the 70s and he's been teaching this. And even though David is teaching the techniques and the strategies in the wobble for us to do good in, there's something hidden or something that's not very apparent as to why some of us fail in this, because trading has a high failure rate. And so, but if he can do it, Mark Douglas or David can do it, and there's a lot of people that do it, why can't we? Number one is confusing me. I can just think if I know it. Okay, I think if you're all finished, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and start the next one. So I'm hoping you're all finished with that. Okay, so I'm going to end that and I'm going to start the next one. Okay, tell me if you can see that as well, or you can't. Let me know if you're able to see that second one, please.
No, I can see it. I can see it pops.
Perfect. Joseph, you get a participation trophy. So the sooner you can finish it, the better. On my screen here, Dave, do you see it or no? You just see the poll.
I see how many people are have finished it and participated. That's all. I do get to see what the poll questions are, but I don't get to answer them, or I don't get to take the poll. I'm getting better at number 4 though, for sure. The past emotional wounds behind me. Sometimes when you take a big loss, it's hard to put it in the past, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to put the wins in the past. I had a great win. You let those losses, sometimes you remember those for years.
Okay, you should be almost finished with that one. This shouldn't take you long. But does it show you there's only one person to answer 2? Okay.
Yeah.
I like to get 16 people, 16 out of 16 if we can.
But we only have 14.
Oh, 14, I mean.
Yeah, plus you and me.
Yeah.
We usually have a lot more, but I think it's because the button's not there and they're not in Discord.
My sabotaging this.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I'll just have, Joseph there. And
in fact, I'm going to check my emails because sometimes they like, hey, we're not doing the meeting tonight.
Perfect. We got 5 people so far. Done. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, when you make your money in trading, I'll be your tour guide in Samoa. I don't charge much.
And it's Samoan dollars. 6 Samoan dollars.
Yeah. We'll trade them. It's worthless. It is worthless. In fact, there's probably worth as much as a pip. Okay,
I'm not taking my dog to Samoa.
They'll eat it. They're like, I like that pip. All right, 30 more seconds, and then we'll go to the third one. Oh, Ed said that his dad was there in the 40s, probably for the war, maybe.
I shared a personal story with a couple of guys yesterday when we were trading the marathon about you in Samoa, about your early days and you're swimming in the ocean.
Climbing coconuts, man.
Yeah, eating coconuts. So some of the guys who were with me on the marathon session with Patricio heard that story yesterday.
All right, guys, I'm going to finish up here in about 2 seconds. I'm going to go to the next one right now. All right. And then the last one is very quick. Gosh, I'm hoping I'm able to see all these results.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Trade-wise, I look like a bishop. No, I'm not.
He's a priest. You can confess to him about your trades.
Well, back in the day, they pay for that. So, hey, I'll take a few pips.
That's why I tell Patricio, I'm not your priest. You don't have to confess to me.
Guys, can you do this last one, please? Or at least I'm second to the last one. The last one is only a few questions. But are you able to see this trader's attitude poll 3? Ed, trader-wise? Oh, Joseph says you see the last one. Patricia, I'm not sure. So Lee's not. Oh, so she, yes, can see. Okay, perfect. Can you please? I don't see anybody that's answered any of the questions so far. Okay, perfect. We got one so far. Thank you for participating. I promise it's going to be worth your while. Patricia, I didn't translate it in Spanish, but good thing is you understand English. I feel attacked on some of these. Believe me, man, as I was going through, I'm like, wow, this guy, I don't even know the guy, and he knows me pretty well. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, you get a participation trophy. Hey, Dave, can you whip up a digital trophy and send it?
These are good questions, though. I was thinking about it. Like, I can't answer them, but I can answer them in my head. So I like them.
Yeah, I mean, these questions are taken directly out of the book, guys. If none of you have read it, highly encourage it. Like I said, I'm using this guys. I mean, there's so many books out there. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of great traders who have written books as well. I just resonate with this guy really well. And so I'm just using that trading in the zone. I read the Disciplined Trader, and it's not bad, but it's actually kind of merged together because everything has to do with with the mindset, which we'll discuss as soon as you finish. They were in the book. Yes. Yep. Ed, you're right. They're in the book.
Number 5, and people are commenting a lot. It says, if you were granted a wish to be able to instantaneously acquire one trading skill, what skill would you choose?
Yeah, that's my unfamiliarity with that.
And then, well, the poll, right? Agree or disagree.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to agree with that.
Well, maybe if you wish, if you want on number 5, just put 5 and then post it in the chat. Consistency, okay, trade, good.
That is a skill for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we're finished with that. Let's go on to the next one. This is the final one, and this is my own little question. Yeah, I ask.
Oh, these are not in the book.
This is not in the book. This is in Cool's book, which maybe I'll write when I get to that level. I will have something to write about. I was like, don't do this.
The first Samoan millionaire currency trader.
Yeah. 5 to 100 years, Norma. Okay, so we got one that's less than a year. 100 years. I was putting it to just be funny. Okay, we have some people that are profitable in their trading. Awesome.
That would be Sean if it would be 100 years. I always it's like a running gag everywhere we go. I always tease him about how long he's been trading. I always say he's been trading since you could trade with the dinosaurs.
Okay. I think most of you guys have answered that. So, okay, thank you for taking the time to answer these questions. Just kind of, I think the exercise of these poll questions was really just an introspect look in yourself, because all of us are in the same boat. No pun intended, of course, or the same canoe. But for the most part, it looks like, all of us are negative, or at least most of us, majority. So, okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to continue on. And I'll share the results here in a little bit. So, APR is life-changing? Awesome. All right, so there's some questions that popped out, at least for me, that in those polls, right? Even when I have a clear signal to reverse my position, I find it extremely difficult to do. I have sustained periods of consistent success, usually followed by some fairly drastic drawdowns in my equity. As much as I might try to let go, I find it very difficult to put past emotional wounds behind me. Trading successfully requires a degree of mental flexibility far beyond the scope of most people. And if you were granted a wish to be able to instantly acquire one trading skill, what skill would you choose? And it is not agree or disagree. And I heard or I saw TradeWise say consistency. And I'm pretty sure you guys can start naming whatever it is that may be. Because for me, at least the skill that I want to acquire now is to learn how to recover, because I don't do a good job in recovering right now. Wisdom is skill. Okay, change my bias. True. I feel sometimes, Ed, I'm very one-dimensional. I have a hard time selling and buying at the same time, and so it's a skill most definitely. And you may have read my favorite quote: "That which he persists in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but your ability to do it has increased." And so it's going to take some time. Some people will catch it faster than others. I'm in this thing for a few years, and I'm still trying to catch it. But I think in the last little time that I spent with Dave in doing this 5 to 50, I've actually expedited that learning curve, or where I wanted to be. I think in that last 6 months, I've learned more in the last 6 months than the years I've spent trying to figure it out. So awesome. Okay, so Mark Douglas, In a few sentences, explain why most traders either don't make money or aren't able to keep what they make. And you're welcome to answer that question yourself in the text. But in one of the survey questions, it was leading itself to why a trader, why the best traders are best or good at what they do. Because all of us, to a certain degree, have gone through those, especially if has been trading for a minute. He says the largest group of consistent losers is composed primarily of doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists, CEOs, wealthy retirees, and entrepreneurs. What do you think about that? Is there a truth behind that, do you think? This is his findings. Do you see yourself, and I'm going to count myself in that as an entrepreneur. I will tell you, and like I said earlier, this is the only thing that's kicked my butt. I've done pretty well in pretty much most of the stuff I've tried in my life. But this one has really, done its job on me. And especially in his book, he mentions that, this is a 95% failure rate. Who would want to try something like this? But yet, if you're able to get to that 5%, you can and be consistent at it, it could be a life-changing, income source for your family. And then when I was reading this, that kind of perked my eye a little bit, that most of the industry's best market analysts are the worst traders imaginable. Imagine that. Why? So these people have the techniques and strategies, the fundamental analysis, the technical analysis, all these tools that's needed to do it. But yet, aside from all these things that they're doing, why is it they still have a hard time with? I mentioned this before. Now, is there truth behind this? That trading is probably the hardest thing you'll ever attempt to be successful at? Joseph, is that an answer? Yes. Oh, Lee, that this PowerPoint, as far as an engineer, wasn't for you, but he said it generally. But is there truth behind this? Trading is probably the hardest thing you'll ever attempt to be successful at. Lisa, I agree with you, and Ernest as well. It is, at least for me, and part of the reason is this. And so both of these books and the answer to your surveys or the poll that you took, it's all mental. Right? We have the fundamental analysis, we have the technical analysis that people do really, really good at and they concentrate on, but yet they don't concentrate a lot on this, the mental analysis, which really drives everything else that we do. And this is the reason why. He said, if I had to distill all of the reasons down to one, I would simply say that the best traders just think differently than the rest. And you think, well, that's pretty easy. But yeah, it's not as easy as it sounds. They just think differently. He says trading is hard. Dave, can you read it? Because I don't want to be the only one doing it.
Because you have to operate in a state of not having to know. Even though your analysis may turn out at times to be perfectly correct, to operate in a state of not having to know, you have to properly manage your expectations. To properly manage your expectations, you must realign your mental environment so that you believe without a shadow of a doubt in the 5 fundamental truths.
So, David, what do you feel about that? What are your thoughts about what he's saying this?
Well, I'd like to know what the 5 fundamental truths are, but hopefully that's your next slide. But the gist of what he's saying is kind of what I say almost every single day, right? You can have the analysis of the market, and I say this, I often know where the market's going, but I have no idea how it's going to get there, right? And so you need to be open to if this, then that, having plan Bs, right? And I think that having plan Bs and if your plan A doesn't work out, you have a plan B. You don't have to. You can flip your. See, I was right. You know what I mean? Even though plan A didn't work out, I knew plan B would. And so sometimes it makes it easier because as humans, we have, particularly, I think Americans, I don't know, have the inherent or an innate ability to want to be right or number one, because we're taught that as a young age, and my dad, who's on this call, would reward me with a candy bar as a kid if I got 100% on a spelling test. But if I got a 98%, I didn't get a candy bar. And so we're taught that as a young age that, anything less than 100% isn't good enough. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me that.
Good thing he's not perfect. So here's the five fundamental. I'll cover the 5 fundamental, but there's a certain stage that he takes you through, guys. There's no way I can cover the whole book. I urge you to read it because I like to bounce stuff off of it. I know Patricia and I have started along this path, and so I would love for all of you guys so we can. It doesn't have to be this book, but there's a lot of other books perhaps that you can look into, but this just resonates with me really well. But there are certain stages that you go through, and I'm not going to cover all the stages because you're going to read the book, but I'm going to concentrate on the last 2. Train your mind to think in probabilities, which David says a lot, and we'll nail down the 5 fundamental truths, and then create a strong, unshakable belief in your consistency as a trader. And these are some of the things that you have all, said that, if you had a skill, what would it be? Consistency. And so, and the neat thing about it is that, we're all going to hone in on aligning exactly what this guy's talking about because of experience. And the more you do it, you're going to align with what David's been talking about because he's been doing it. And so don't cut yourself short by quitting too soon. And so let's continue along this path. So Mark Douglas continues, train your mind to think in probabilities, and then create a strong, unshakable belief in your consistency as a trader. Okay, so what are the 5 fundamentals? Anything can happen. Right, Dave? Anything can happen in the market. You don't need to know what is going to happen next in order to make money. And that's difficult for most people because I think we need to know what's going to happen ahead of time. But in the market, you have no clue. And because you don't know what's going to happen, it makes it a little difficult. Okay. There is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. An edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. As you learn the wobble technique, the technique and the strategies within it, you'll learn it. But obviously there's a thought process behind it to help you guide those techniques and strategy, or the edge that eventually we'll all get. I'm not there yet. And then every moment in the market is unique. It goes up, it goes down, and it goes sideways. Sometimes it goes way down. And if you're in the wrong position, you got to figure out a way to fix it and get out. Okay. Thank you, Lee. All right. So the other is create a strong, unshakable belief in your consistency as a trader. So what he has suggested, and I think maybe some of you have already been along that path. Are you all familiar with affirmations? And if you are, do you have an affirmation that you use that you like to be a little vulnerable and share with us?
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. I don't know. That's a Saturday Night Live daily affirmations.
Okay, so there's some affirmations that he has created himself that he uses. There you go, Ed. I am a consistently profitable trader, right? And you can set yourself of these affirmations or self-talk to be able to, because at first I know there's a whole psychological thing that goes in there with your subconscious mind and everything, which we can't delve into it. But hopefully, if you've been around life enough, you can kind of understand that a lot of thoughts that goes through our minds are negative. Most of it's from us. When we make a wrong trade, dang it, and then you beat yourself. But there's a way for you to be able to overcome that by having a mind shift, by having a belief and reaffirming the good that you want to become, because you're kind of speaking to the future. You're not speaking now. You're speaking to the cool, or in my case, next year or the year after, and I can see myself, okay, I'm going to be this, that, and eventually I'll get there. But if you don't put yourself up there, then you'll always have what you have now. But you got to think towards that end. In fact, I also met this guy, Dave. I met this guy. So in fact, he changed my way of thinking in my 20s. And he wrote a book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Has any of you read this book? I am a 1% trader, perfect, Pete. But have any of you read this book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself? Highly recommend it. It changed the way I thought. So I showed you a little bit the islands I came from. In the islands, so we pretty much have to live off the island. If we don't go fishing, if we don't go, gardening and get food off our plantation, we don't eat. It's basically, surviving on a daily basis. And so I come from that environment, and then I come to America, and, I have, Samoa is my first language, English was my second. It took me at least 2 years to try to understand what people are saying. I went to 4th grade. I had no clue what people were talking about. And so you can imagine the confidence that a 4th grader would have. And it's very sad because I couldn't communicate. They couldn't communicate. And so you can imagine the self-talk I had as a child. It wasn't good at all. In fact, Shad Helmstetter said that 75% of illnesses are self-induced. Does that make sense to you guys? Is that believable? I think so. And then 77% of what you tell yourself is negative. You'll become what you think about most. I think most of you probably have heard that. And of course, in the scriptures, as a man think or as a woman think, so is he. So our thinking is very vital to our success. Yeah, trade-wise, I believe it as well. So one of the things that helped me as I read this book, I've always wanted to make $100,000. And this is now in my 30s. And my late wife and I, the most we've ever made was 50 grand combined. And yet I want to make that. And I've been around people who made that kind of money, but it wasn't me. So one of the things that the guy I was working with in the mortgage industry, he was a millionaire. He says, take a pad of paper and write down, I earn $100,000 a year. I didn't know any better. After reading this, I'm like, okay. So every night, for I don't know how long, I would write that down. I earn $100,000 a year. I earn $100,000 a year. That was 2001 when I did that. I didn't earn my first 100,000 in 2002. Is there a connection to it? I believe it is. And so I'm using that same technique in what I'm doing here because I beat myself a lot when I make a bad trade, but I also recognize, hey, this is just part of the process of learning. But your thinking has to be in the right place. So start creating those affirmations and tell yourself what your future self is going to be. So in his program, it is our program. Oh, Dave, can you read this, please?
Yeah. It is our programming that sets up our beliefs, and the chain reaction begins. In logical progression, what we believe determines our attitudes, affects our feelings, directs our behavior, and determines our success or failure. Programming creates beliefs. Beliefs create attitudes. Attitudes create feelings. Feelings determine actions, and actions create results. That's how the brain works. If you want to manage yourself in a better way and change your results, you can do so at any time you choose. Start with the first step, change your programming.
Guys, I'm looking forward to get to know all of you, but that's really it. That's the answer to what we're looking for, is the way we think. We got to think in the right way, and don't beat yourself up every single time you make a wrong trade, because you're going to start making more. And in fact, if the better you're going to get at this, the more bad trades you're going to make. And that's the only way for you to learn. Until you get to a certain point where that curve, that learning curve breaks, you're going to make more right choices than wrong. But don't beat yourself over the head. Start creating some affirmation and telling yourself what your future self will be. And that'll be the action item I leave with you guys, in that hopefully, one, read the book, Trading Zone, or any other books that resonates with you about the mindset. Because when he goes through the whole book, it's really all about mindset. And then what to say when you talk to yourself, because you got to talk to yourself properly, because most of the time we tell ourselves not good things, right? And so if you can take that and make it as an actionable items for you, hopefully that will be able to help us in our trading, and then when we meet and we have whatever get-togethers we have, we can at least connect face to a name, and hopefully we can make that pip that we need, and I'll take you to Samoa. Thanks, guys.
Did you want to share the results of the poll?
How do I do that?
You click on share results. I can do it if you want me to.
Can you do it? Yeah.
So
So if I stop sharing, would it?
No, I think everybody can see it now, right? You guys can see the results of the poll. Pretty interesting, actually. So thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Cool. I love that. It's kind of like, I'm not sure if people remember this or not, but a couple boot camps ago, I was asked to sit on a panel, like a question and answer panel at boot camp. And it was me and Sean and Todd and I think Rex and might have been Kevin or Nate. I don't remember, but we were asked, each one of us, we could go around and the question was asked to us about if there's one thing that we wish we would have known in our early stages of our trading career that might be beneficial to share to the group. You know, that question was proposed, and I had the opportunity to answer last, and I was curious to see what everybody would say, what Sean and Nate and Todd would say. Now I don't remember. I did in fact write it all down, and I don't remember off the top of my head what each one of them was. But I do remember that each one of them was psychological in nature. And when it was my turn to go, I said, isn't it interesting that not one professional trader said, I wish I would have learned the waddle technique, or I wish I would have learned how to read the candlestick charts, or I wish I would have learned how to determine price action early on in my trading career. Every single person said something about psychology of the mind. And that is the true mastery in life, and it's the true mastery in trading. And I think what has made me so successful is that, you know, that old adage that if you don't have a mind, it doesn't matter, right? So I don't have to think about trading because I can't think about it and so I just react to it, right? And so I love what you were saying. Cool. And I just want to add one more quote, and this is for Patricio, is that your attitude determines your altitude. And so he's a pilot. He knows that, you know, that as a pilot for many, many years, I'm sure Patricio had to always have a positive attitude no matter what. Right. But as well as trading. So thank you. So like I said before, Cool's presentation has really nothing to do in the levels of 1, 2, and 3, but it encompasses everything. And if you're a new trader just starting out, or you've been trading for a long time, because I can see that we have, you know, less than a year all the way up to 100 years of trading, mindset is something that everybody struggles with, and that we all can do better at. And so I appreciate it. Any questions for Cool or myself before we part ways? Great job, Cool, by the way. I didn't have to yank the curtain from you at all. So
thanks, guys. You know, it's interesting because in your opinion, what is more important, mindset or technique and strategies? And majority of you put mindset. So the 5 of you that put technique and strategies, hopefully that you can delve deep into it, because everything's up here. And once we master up here in our thoughts and the way we go into programming ourselves for success, these techniques and strategy will have a lot more meaning than just trying to concentrate on those. So anyway, that's it for me.
Well, Josh has a question for you.
Oh,
or
Josh.
Maybe me. So what did you notice?
Mindset change when you became profitable. Oh, you know what, Josh? I'm not profitable yet because of all the losses I've taken before, but my mindset and where I'm heading to right now is along that line of profitability. And I think, and it's not just one thing, it's a series of events over my life, because you're going to get knocked down, not just by trading. You're going to get knocked down by events that happen in your family. I'm pretty sure some of you have had deaths in your family. That's not good. And so there's certain things beyond this that you've got to be good with who you are. If you're religious, perfect. If not, then find something higher than yourself to be able to help you, because everything that I do, I take it to a higher power for me. And so I guess over time, so for example, at 52, I know I'm 52. Some people think I'm 30. So if you think I'm 30, thank you. But at 52, I know a lot more about life and how to handle setbacks than I did at 42. And I know a lot more at 42 than I did at 32. And it's supposed to be, I know we know curves, but life is like this. if it's like this, something's wrong. So I'm not sure if that helps, Joshua, but for me, it's just, I want to get better than I am now. And so I'm hoping when I'm 62, I'll be much better. So hopefully that
you will be. Well, my mindset changed for trading was really when I learned how to cover from a loss. Because I would struggle mentally hardcore when you would have 5 or 4 positive days and then one day you'd give it all back to the market. I think it was a big mental struggle. And for me to overcome things that I needed to work on, I would find challenges to just make up my own challenges. Like I would open up a demo account and I would trade in that demo account, and I would have to start from scratch every single day just so that so I could get over that fear of taking the loss, that first loss, right? If you start with a fresh demo account and the first trade you take is a loss, well, how does that affect your mindset? And so I did that over and over and over every single day so that I could get out of that mindset of having to be above or below. And then I gradually would learn how to fix my trades. And I think that for me, when I gained the confidence, I guess, and learning and then putting in the confidence, I learned that, you know what, I'm not going to allow myself to get into a position where I can't fix my trades, 1. And 2, if I do take a loss, I'm confident that I can fix it, right? And that, to me, was the biggest mental shift or the mental barrier in my trading is like, yeah, losses are no big deal because I can make it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not allowing myself to take the catastrophic loss is self-control and exactly what we're talking about today. Not allowing yourself to take that catastrophic loss. So just looking to see if we have any other comments before we wrap up.
Thank you guys for taking part and
thank you guys for your comments. Yeah, love it. All right, guys. Thank you guys. I think we'll go ahead and end there. So thank you again. Cool. Love it.
Okay.
Thank you guys. And if you guys want to, watch this, obviously the recording should be posting, but this is a great lesson to learn. And what a great presentation. So thank you again. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
We'll see you in the AM.
Take care.
Bye.